right, well, let's go ahead and we'll get started. So thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. We're very excited to see you and to have you here with us. My name is Rebecca Lago. I'm one of the owners of Ginger and Juice Bar in Miami. And before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little background of my story. But actually before that, I did not introduce my helper here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Hayden.
All right, perfect. This is Hayden. So she's going to be helping me make our yummy treat today. All right, so for those of you who don't know, my sister Miriam and I, we have talked about opening up a healthy fast food joint for really over a decade. Finally, in the summer of last year, I left the beer business after 14 years to essentially go and sell another beverage, but one that's a little bit healthier. So we've had so much fun putting the business together and working together. Really, we finally were able to open in March, which I think those of you who don't know now where the story is going. A couple weeks after we opened, we unfortunately had to shut our doors due to COVID. So here we are trying to figure out a way to still bring that healthy alternative to fast food to our community. And really the great thing about this is you don't have to be in Miami to enjoy this. So you can really join this episode and sip on smoothies with us really from all over the world. So we're very happy that you guys are with us today. This class, we're very happy to bring it to you. It's free. I know a few of you have asked how you can help out. If you'd like to donate, which essentially goes back into helping us open again after this pandemic is over, you can do so at Ginger and Juice Bar on Venmo or PayPal. And I think my sister Miriam's going to put the links in there for you. So with that being said, the other thing I did want to note is there is a chat feature. If throughout this, if you have any questions about the recipe or anything that we're doing, go ahead and write them in the chat and I'll try to get to those before we end. If not, I'm going to be sending out the recipe when we get off and I'll make sure to address anything that we might have missed during the show. So without further ado, a couple thumbs up. Who's ready?
Me.
All right, I see a lot of thumbs. All right, that's awesome. You're ready? Where's your thumbs? I don't see a thumbs up.
I'm making a smoothie.
Yeah? All right, perfect. So for tonight's recipe, for those of you who know me know that I am not a baker. So my sister Laura, she is the one in the family that is the baker. But being the fact that we've been home a lot more than usual, we've been in the kitchen a lot more and we've been baking. And so in honor of that, tonight I put together a recipe for you that is no bake, only blend chocolate peanut butter cookies. So you don't have to go and heat up your oven. You don't need to go grab butter if you cook with that. You don't need to grab your table sugar. I'm going to show you how to do all of that right in this blender right here. All right, so let's get started.
First we pour the milk.
First we pour the milk, exactly. So for this, we're going to do 1.5 cups of oat milk. For smoothies, I always do my smoothies vegan. And you can choose from so many different milks. You can do a coconut milk, hemp milk. You can do the oat milk that we're using today, almond milk. And I always put the milk and the liquid, regular milk if you use that, yes. And I always put that in the blender first. The reason for that is if you start with the frozen ingredients, it tends to get caught up in the blender and it really doesn't mix too well together. So we're gonna start with our milk, 1.5 cups of oat milk, and Hayden's gonna go ahead and put this in for us. All right, you wanna put it in? You looked at me like you're a little nervous here. All right, there we go. 1.5 cups of oat milk. All right, perfect. Next, we are going to put in protein powder. So a couple things to note on protein powder. Again, as I said, I always use vegan for my protein. This is the one that that I love to use. You can use vanilla, you can use chocolate. You can use really any sort of protein powder. But a couple of things that I want to mention about protein powder. The first thing is a lot of people really get too much protein, and that's not good for your liver. It's not good for your kidneys. So if you are consuming enough protein, I would say to omit adding the protein powder to this. The other thing that I will note is, you know, if you're vegan or vegetarian and you're looking to try to get more protein, that's great. It does help to tone up your muscle. But the other thing with protein, being that you can get too much of it, you just want to be very careful. Yep, we're gonna go ahead and put in one scoop of this. All right. Oh, it comes with a scoop. There we go. Go ahead and put in 1 scoop of our protein powder. All right, perfect. And the other thing that I did want to note about protein, which is what I was going to say earlier, is a lot of people think, okay, I went to the gym or I'm about to go to the gym, I got to bulk up, I got to have a ton of protein. And really, that's not necessarily the right way to look at it. When you're going to be working out, you actually need a lot of carbs. So what we recommend is before or after you work out that you have maybe a fruit smoothie, where the protein smoothies are really good as a meal replacement or a snack, but not necessarily right before or right after the gym. Okay? Now, if you use a vanilla protein powder, since we're making chocolate cookies, you'll want to add cacao powder or something like that. I actually don't even have cacao powder at the house right now, but just to kind of show you, these are the nibs. So it would look like this, but just in a finer form. And one thing I will say about the cacao, I'm sure there's other people out there that could admit this. I wanted to call this Keiko for so long. Let me see a raise of hands. Who else wants to call this Keiko? I mean, that's what it looks like. But no, this is pronounced cacao. This is really great because there's not a lot of sugar in it, but you do get that nice chocolate flavor. All right, so let's see what our next ingredient is in here. Now we have our banana.
No, we didn't get out yet because we didn't want to talk.
Exactly. So here we have 1 frozen banana. Whenever we go to the store, we always buy more bananas than we need, and we never throw away bananas. You always want to buy a few extra. Just remember to peel them right when they're about going ripe, and then just freeze them. Depending on the power of your blender, you can either leave the banana whole if you have a Vitamix or something really powerful. You can cut them in half or fourths, and sometimes we almost make what I call banana ice cubes, where you can just slice those bananas up, and it's essentially like putting ice right into the blender. So we're gonna go ahead and put 1 frozen banana on top of that. Hayden, go ahead. All right, perfect.
Careful not to pour the bowl in.
Be careful not to pour the bowl in, right? And we use banana a lot of times in our smoothie. It's really just a great way to get those carbs without the cholesterol and really without the fat as well. So let's see, what is our next ingredient?
Now we're going to be using.
We are moving into hemp hearts. All right, perfect. So hemp seed, so these are the ones that we buy. Really the hemp heart, it's the best part of the seed to buy. It's basically the middle of the seed. It's where all the raw nutrition is. Again, this is gonna give you a little bit of protein, but the great thing about hemp hearts is that they're really good for your immune system. So I know a lot of us, hopefully all of us, are trying to boost our immune right now as we all try to fight off this virus. So these are great things to add to our smoothie. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons. A serving size is 3, but for this recipe, I put in 2. So we're gonna go ahead and get our measuring spoons here. There's the tablespoon. Here, let me dip it in for you. All right, go ahead and put 1. And number 2. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, well, Hayden's putting in the hemp hearts there. We are now, as you know, we were going to be adding peanut butter at some point since our cookies tonight are chocolate peanut butter cookies. So I chose powder for this recipe. You can also use the real thing. The good thing about the powder is that it's about a third less fat, or essentially a third less calories than the real thing. And the other, not so much of a huge positive, but it does make cleaning the blender a little bit easier, because you know how when you do a smoothie, it kind of gets all stuck to the side. You don't have to do that with the powdered peanut butter. So for this recipe, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of powdered peanut butter, and this is only 70 calories. I would say if you use 2 tablespoons of regular peanut butter, it would probably be somewhere in like the 200s. All right. Thank you. Go ahead and put that in. 1 and 2. A little too much there. Perfect. All right, and our next ingredient, this one here is really optional. So we always use, whenever we use honey, we're always going to use a raw local honey. At the juice bar, we go with the Native Guy. We're in South Miami, and they're very close by in Coral Gables, so we try to support local when we can. This is completely optional since we are making dessert. We decided to make it a little bit sweeter. If you are vegan, you can use agave instead of honey. And again, this is completely optional. The one thing I will say, I'm a huge fan of honey. It has a lot of antioxidants for you. And the other thing is, it's good not just to consume it, but it's also good. It's very moisturizing for your skin. It helps if you have wounds or acne or anything like that. You can always put honey on to help with that as well. But what I will say, a lot of people are like, oh, it's agave, or oh, it's a honey. It's, you know, it's a whole food. It's really, really great for you. You know, if you're wanting to watch your sugar intake, that's not necessarily true, because your body doesn't really know, okay, I'm having all this table sugar, I'm having all this honey. You're still going to get that insulin spike. So I would say if you were going to choose between one, I would definitely go for the whole food. But don't think that this is not going to spike your insulin or add extra sugar into your diet. So we're going to go ahead and get this. Let's get our measuring. We're doing 2 teaspoons. All right, this one's messy, baby. I'm going to do this one. So we're going to stick 2 teaspoons of honey right in our blender. It does, yeah. All right. And then the next ingredient we're going to use is very simple, cinnamon. Cinnamon is one of my favorite things to add to not just my smoothies, but my coffee, my tea. The great thing about cinnamon is that if you're trying to stay away from sugar, cinnamon, you get a really nice aroma from it. And it almost tastes like you are eating something sweet, even though you're not. So depending on how much you like or dislike cinnamon, you can either omit this, you can put a ton of shakes of cinnamon, you can put a little bit. There's no 1 teaspoon, one of that. Just kind of shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it till you make it, whatever kind of thing you want to do with the cinnamon. And that always adds nice into there. And then the last thing I'm going to add, let me just get this out of my freezer here. Is 1 cup of ice. Now, if you remember from the recipe, the only frozen ingredient we used was a frozen banana. And we really like our smoothies to almost be the consistency of like a frozen yogurt, a little bit frothier. If you don't want to use ice, you could always use another half a banana. You could always add some fruit into it. You could use a cup of blueberries. You could use a cup of frozen strawberries. Anything like that will also do, but you'll want to put some other type of frozen fruit or water into your smoothie just to give it that kind of frothiness. And Hayden seems like she's agreeing with this. All right, go ahead and pour that in.
And then we're going to put the top on and blend it all up.
We are going to put the top on and blend it all up. Yes. All right, so you want to hit the smoothie button. Actually, before you do that, I'm going to check the chat, see if there's any questions. This is probably going to be a little bit loud, but I will do my best to answer those. And again, anything I don't get to today on here, I will definitely send that out after the class. So go ahead and press the smoothie button, Hayden. I'm going to hold this up here. Hold it real tight so it doesn't go flying. And let's check the chat here. Let's see. Oh, Nikki said Hayden's the cutest assistant. And Sarah says MVP to Hayden. So what am I, chopped liver? I'm a blended smoothie over here. Let's see. What is the amount of protein? What is the optimum amount of protein for the day? What does a normal diet provide? I will soon have a lot of bananas for you. This is a long one. Is this my mother-in-law? Where is? I don't know. No, she's saying no. Okay, because it says iPad, so I'm not sure who this is here. But so in terms of the amount of protein. Oh yeah, just keep it on. Just keep it going. In terms of the amount of protein, there's so many variables to how much protein you need. Whether you're a man or a woman, how much exercise you're getting, and there's a lot of different things that come into play. So it would be hard to really answer that question as a more generic term. But I can send out some resources for you to be able to look up and put in what your body weight is and your physical activity and all of that kind of stuff, so you can figure that out for yourself and see how many grams of protein that you'll be needing. All right, and we have Carl on, and I have to tell you guys right now, Carl is joining us. You ready for this? From Australia. How cool is that? And this is actually my first time meeting him. He's my preschool pal's fiance, so this is a really cool way to meet you, Carl. Hello, and thank you for joining us. All right, we see Holly. Holly, thank you so much. She lives very close to us here, and that seems to be it for the questions for now. So again, I will send out some more details on the protein so you can figure that out for your body type. So now we will take the top off. And this is where our spoon is going to come in. You want to just kind of give it one good mix, make sure that everything blended nicely. We didn't have a lot of frozen fruits or vegetables in here, so the one blend was perfect. All right. So for today, I was going to show you two different ways to kind of make this cookie, really to enjoy this cookie, I should say. The first way is really just to sip on it, sip on your smoothie. And Hayden, before I give this to you, because I know you want this, I've got to try it. Oh my God, that is so good. I mean, it's like just so amazing. You can have your dinner, make the smoothie. It's so good for the whole family, and it's just such a healthier way than, you know, having your traditional Toll House chocolate chip cookie. You want some? All right, let me put this here. The other way that you can do this is you can pour it like this into a bowl. Okay. And then what you can do is you can top it with, remember, cacao, not Keiko. You can top that with a little bit of the cacao nibs. We can put a little bit of sliced almonds on there.
Are these chocolate?
That is chocolate. And who doesn't love a little bit of coconut on their cookie, right? Coconut, chocolate, peanut butter cookie. Sounds amazing.
Really does.
And then if you guys can just kind of see that right here. Let me move I don't know if you guys can see that. But a lot of times with the family, like we'd like to go out for some ice cream or to get a treat. And with COVID, since we're stuck inside, it's kind of fun to do something that's a little bit fancier, a little bit more dessert-like than just kind of sipping on the smoothie.
Yeah.
And then I did forget to mention, but I have to always put a plug in for this. Whenever you are using straws, just please always remember to use the reusable straws. I know the paper ones are not so good, but they have the silicone ones, the metal ones, and those are all great because you can just really wash those and use those again at home. It limits waste, it helps our oceans. So definitely always choose a reusable straw. If you're out at somewhere that doesn't have an eco-friendly straw, just omit the straw. You can enjoy these without a straw as well. So good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys are making this with me, or if you're going to be making it after the fact, either later tonight for dessert or tomorrow, or in Carl's case, maybe later after lunch because it's already tomorrow in Australia. Please tag us at Ginger N Juice Bar. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we'd love to see your photos, and we'd love to share those to our story as well. Sunday at 2 p.m. is our next class. That's going to be held by my sister Miriam, the other owner of Ginger and Juice Bar. So we'd love for you to participate. And if you guys enjoyed this tonight, please tell your friends and your family. We want to build this community and continue to build this community. So please send them our way. All we need is their email. And again, if you'd like to help us, you can donate at Ginger and Juice Bar, Venmo, or PayPal. So thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate you spending our Wednesday night with us. Let me, really quick, see if there was any last minute questions on the chat. No, everyone's just, I think, excited to go make this now, right? So yeah. I don't want to get in your way between now and cookie time. So enjoy your cookies and please share it with us. Thank you and have a great night. Let's clap.